Hello everyone, thanks for joining in. Today we will discuss DHCP snooping topic. So the objective of DHCP snooping is to stop any unauthorized or rogue DHCP server offering leases to the clients, right? So for today, this will be our topology. So when we will set DHCP on this client, so it will send a DHCP request message to this DHCP server, right? So when that message will reach to this switch, so it will broadcast that message to all the interfaces, right? So suppose any outsider has connected their laptop on this interface and he has made that laptop as a DHCP server. Okay, so that laptop will assign the IP to this client. So in this way, he can disrupt our whole operation, right? So to avoid that, we will use DHCP snooping feature in our operation. So what it will do, it will make only that interface as a trusted port and rest all the ports will be considered as untrusted port. That means no other devices can assign IP address to any client. Only our trusted DHCP server can assign the IP address, right? So how will we configure that? So let's take the console of this switch. Actually, we have configured this router as a DHCP server and router R1 will acting as a relay agent, right? So let's configure DHCP snooping feature first. So the command is IP snooping, right? So we will enable DHCP snooping for all the VLANs. So the command is IP snooping VLAN 124094 range, right? So we want to make this interface as a trusted port so that only this DHCP server can assign IP address to our clients, right? So let's enable this interface as a trusted port. So interface GG 0 by 0. Command is IP DHCP snooping trust, right? So let's get let's test this client will get the IP address or not. So here I can see no IP address is on the client, right? So we will enable IP DHCP. So it will send a DHCP request message to this DHCP server, but it will not get the IP address because here when DHCP request message reaches to this switch, so this switch will add switch ID with that DHCP request message. So due to that switch ID, this DHCP server will consider this port as an untrusted port, right? So due to that switch ID, this DHCP server will not allocate any IP address to this client, right? So we'll have to disable that feature. So the command is IP DHCP snooping information option. So we'll have to disable this feature. So now let's try once again. This time this client should get the IP address. So here we can see that it has started the DORA process and it got the IP 10.0.10.11, right? And the gateway is 10.0.10.1. So here one more concept is there. So as we know that this router R1 is acting as a relay agent, right? So when this client will send a request to the DHCP server for IP address, so it will send a GI address as 10.0.20.1, right? So as we discussed in the last lecture, let me show you. So here, when this client will send a DHCP request message, so first it will put source address as a 0.0.0.0, but when this message will reaches to router R1, it will change the GI address from 0.0.0.0 to 10.0.20.1, right? So due to non-zeros GI address, this DHCP server will discard that DHCP request message. So it will consider that port as a untrusted port, right? So to avoid that, we'll have to make this interface as a DHCP snooping trust port, right? So without apply that, let's check this router, or sorry, this client will get the IP address or not, right? So let's move on client 2. Let me show you no IP address is on the client 2, right? So IP DHCP. So as I said, this client will not get the IP address. So here we can see we will get the logs that due to non-zero GI address, or we can say option 82, this interface will be considered as untrusted port, right? So we'll have to make this interface as a trusted port. So we will go on this switch interface G 0 by 2, and the command is IPDSCP snooping trust, right? So we will apply once again IPDSCP on this client. So this time this client got the IP, right? So 10.0.20.11 is from the range 10.0.20.0/24, right? And the gateway is 10.0.20.1. Actually, it got the IP 10.0.20.11 because we have excluded that IP address from 10.0.20.2 to 10.0.20.10, and 10.0.20.1 is configured on this interface. So the IP started from 10.0.20.11. That client got the IP, right? So that was the agenda for today, guys. I hope you have learned something new. So till the next video, I am signing off. Take care.